2026 is already here, and that means some huge games are heading our way onto both our Xbox consoles and Xbox Game Pass. This is actually shaping up to be an absolute behemoth of a year for Team Green, and it was so bloody hard narrowing down these 15 games for you today. Honestly, how we're going to fit them all into our busy schedules is beyond me, but man, I'm so hyped for this year. With that, my name is Fletcher, and this is Xbox Nation, and let's just dive right into it. Reanimal has easily shot to the top of my most anticipated games list of 2026 entirely, and that's largely because it comes from Tarsier Studios. The big reveal from the showcase about a few weeks ago now finally gave us a release date, and we now know that this nightmare-fueled adventure will arrive to us on the 13th of February in 2026. After stepping away from the Little Nightmares franchise, the studio is clearly channeling that same unsettling energy into something brand new. Reanimal though will follow a brother and sister that's forced to endure some horrifying trials as they basically search for missing friends and attempt to escape the island that they once called home. The brief gameplay snippets we've seen so far really does send some chills down my spine, teasing the grotesque creatures and disturbing environments. Even better, there's already a demo available on Xbox right now, and it's absolutely incredible, so you don't have to wait to get a taste of the horror coming our way this February. LEGO Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight is now arriving in May, and this game is really shaping up to probably be the largest LEGO game that we've ever seen before. The latest showing of this one did a very great job of showing exactly what us fans can expect, that classic LEGO slapstick humour blended with surprisingly heartfelt Batman moments. The gameplay clips highlight familiar brawling though, alongside the puzzle solving, and then plenty of tongue-in-cheek jokes that the LEGO games do so well. What really caught my attention though were the surprise villain reveals, pulling in iconic faces from Batman's 90s movie era like Two-Face and Mr. Freeze. With Batman front and centre and the LEGO charm in full force here, this already looks like a ton of fun to be honest. I'm all in for it, but I'm curious, what franchise would you love to see LEGO tackle next? You'll have to let me know in the comments below. It's honestly becoming harder and harder these days to ignore just how massive Crimson Desert is really shaping up to be. Every brand new trailer really pushes my expectations even higher, and for many players out there, this is easily the most anticipated RPG, or let alone game of 2026 outside of GTA 6. What started life as a spin-off of Black Desert Online has now transformed into a fully fledged single-player experience with some serious ambition about it. The game will drop us into a brutal, war-ravaged world filled with political conflict and layered characters, but the real standout is going to be the combat variety. Unlike other games within the same RPG genre, they are typically leaned towards a sort of rigid style with them. Crimson Desert though is aiming for a more fluid and physics-driven encounter system with far more freedom to it. Add in of course the breathtaking visuals, which I really don't have to mention, and a living open world, and this one is feeling destined to be something really special for this March. It's finally sinking in that Resident Evil 9 is bloody real, and it's shaping up to be one of the biggest releases within the first half of this year. This newest entry though shifts the spotlight to Grace Ashcroft, an FBI agent who also happens to be the daughter of Alyssa Ashcroft from Resident Evil Outbreak. There was also the reveal recently that we're also getting Leon here, and he looks absolutely insane. Of course, Grace Ashcroft though will really be the main centre stage of the entire story, and it's really going to set the series forward set roughly 30 years after the destruction of Raccoon City. There's still a lot that Capcom is keeping under wraps, even though we've had some big reveals here like Leonette I just mentioned, but the focus on a new protagonist and timeline already makes us feel like a bold step in the right direction. I'll admit though, I've never actually been a huge Resident Evil fan since it is a horror game and those aren't really my thing, but after how strong Resident Evil Village was, and with games like Silent Hill F really raising the bar, anticipation for this brand new entry is definitely justified. I've been keeping an eye on Replaced for years now, and it's so incredibly satisfying to finally see it lock in a release date which is coming very soon. The story-driven 2.5D experience is officially launching on March 12, 2026, and everything about this one just feels carefully crafted around atmosphere and a narrative. If you're unfamiliar, you will play as Reach, a sentient AI that's trapped inside of a human body, and you'll be exploring a grim cyberpunk future while digging into the secrets of the powerful Phoenix Corporation. Visually, as you can probably see on screen now, the game blends stunning pixel art with fluid, almost film-like animations, and is all backed up by a moody synth-heavy soundtrack. The gameplay, from what the devs have mentioned, is going to lean heavily into smooth traversal, alongside tight platforming and stylish bursts of combat that looks like something out of the Arkham series. It's also launching exclusively onto Xbox and PC, making this one a major Xbox console highlight for 2026, and it is still coming day one to Xbox Game Pass. Just when it felt like Metroidvania fans were already spoiled thanks to the likes of Silksong, another standout quietly stepped into the spotlight. Let me introduce you to Mio, Memories in Orbit, as it resurfaced during the PC Gaming Show a few weeks back now with a brand new trailer, and it immediately set the tone with haunting visuals and a strangely poetic narration. This is actually a game that leans heavily into atmosphere, dropping you into a vast space arc overrun by rogue machines and fragmented memories. You will also play through a lonely mechanical abyss where forgotten stories and malfunctioning robots collide, and that vibe feels so unsettling in the best way possible. Gameplay wise though, what's really been shown really speaks for itself, with its fluid movement, sharp combat, and just beautifully animated encounters. Best of all, it now has a confirmed release date of course of the 20th of January, so it is coming up on us very soon, and it will be launching day one onto Xbox Game Pass, so it's definitely one to watch. Every time that this game was shown off in the past year, it somehow looked even better than it had done before. Mistfall Hunter is set in a haunting world shaped by divine collapse, where Ragnarok has essentially come and gone, and the gods didn't survive. You're then dropped into a Nordic-inspired wasteland filled with monsters, corruption, and also an ever-present mist that twists everything that it touches. You will be playing as a resurrected Gildan Hunter, where every run is about risk versus reward as you battle enemies, loot valuable gear, and then decide when to extract. You can go in alone of course, or squad it with your friends, but of course other players in this game will always be a threat to you, ready to steal everything that you've really earned. With its fast, weighty third-person combat, its flexible class builds which really do look intriguing, alongside that high-stakes PvPvE tension that we come to expect in these extraction shooters, every match is going to feel bloody intense. Again, this one is coming very soon in the first half of 2026, and I'm really hoping it delivers on its huge potential. 007 First Light has easily shot on my list after hearing more and more about this game since its initial reveal, and it instantly felt like something different and truly unique. While IO Interactive's signature Hitman influence is clearly there of course, this one isn't just about stealth missions in a fancy suit. Instead, the game is now leaning heavily into that sort of action-adventure genre, blending sneaking with explosive set pieces, cinematic moments, and surprisingly polished driving sequences. Visually, of course, looks like a massive big leap forward for the studio, even though it did have certainly a few rough performance spots that showed up during its early footage, which I do have to say is pretty normal at that stage, but it did have me a little bit worried. The overall vibe though feels like Hitman colliding with Uncharted, and honestly it's looking far better than what I ever expected. With the game now set to launch on Xbox this May after a very small delay, I cannot wait to see how it fares on its release. Code Vein 2 already feels like something more than just a follow-up. It actually comes across as a true continuation of ideas that the original only hinted at. The first game built an intriguing world of course full of mystery, but the sequel looks to really dig deeper into extraction lore. This one though has us returning to a harsh, broken setting where combat once again centers on draining enemy blood, but encounters now seem more tactical and deliberate than we've ever seen. Customization also appears to be a major pillar this time around, with a very robust character creator and also a flexible progression system that allows you to reshape your Revenant's build as you play. Between that striking anime-inspired visual style and alongside the expanded build variety and a heavier focus on world building, Code Vein 2 is shaping up to be a standout release and an impressive way really to kick off 2026. The team behind the likes of Road 96 is finally heading in a completely new direction, and honestly is one of the more intriguing concepts on this list today. Tides of Tomorrow is developed by Digix Art and is now confirmed for Xbox and will launch on the 24th of February. This isn't your typical multiplayer experience either. Instead of sharing matches, players actually share consequences. It's a very weird one indeed. Every decision you basically make during your personal story run can then directly influence other worlds and also narratives that other players will experience. Hence why it's completely bloody weird. This one though is going to be set in a vibrant sci-fi open world, and the game has you travelling by boat, meeting different NPCs, and then shaping events in subtle but meaningful ways. Of course, we don't really know what ways yet and what the story really entails, but we'll have to dive into it very soon. Honestly, if the asynchronous multiplayer usually sticks to those mechanics and it goes on and all that sort of shared storytelling elements, it's going to be a very bold idea that I'm genuinely excited to see if Digix Art can really pull off. I genuinely didn't expect this one, but seeing High on Life 2 get announced at the Xbox Showcase earlier in 2025 instantly shot it up to my most wanted list for early this year. If you loved the first game, this sequel is essentially going to be doubling down on everything that made it so memorable, but including a ton of brand new ideas. You're once again going to be teaming up though with your chaotic crew of talking alien weapons, and you'll be blasting, stabbing, and now skating your way across bizarre worlds scattered throughout the galaxy. The story also takes a quite strange turn this time around, around. So rather than humans being harvested as drugs like the first game, aliens are now apparently making people into literal zoos. So yeah, kind of a bit more absurd in its storytelling. From the brief glimpses that I've seen, especially from the new trailers over on IGN and the little previews they've been doing, it looks absolutely brilliant, and it's all going to be wrapped up in that unmistakable absurd humour, but this time a little bit more direct and without Justin Roiland at the helm. If it sticks to the landing, I feel this could be another big hit waiting to happen in early 2026. Let's roll the clock back to a time when RPGs didn't explain themselves and didn't apologise for it. Gothic 1 Remake is currently slated for early 2026, and it's going to be bringing that unforgiving philosophy back with some modern sensibilities. The premise still remains pretty brutal though, so a magical catastrophe traps criminals inside of a deadly colony, and survival belongs to whoever can seize power. This isn't a simple coat of fresh paint though. Combat has been fully reworked, progression systems have been modernised, and the open world is expanded to reduce jank without losing its tension. The iconic locations do return though with far greater detail, and quests have been re-evaluated across the board. For veterans, it's going to be a long-awaited redemption arc, and for newcomers, it might be one of the most harshest and most rewarding RPGs that you'll ever play. Then we have Pragmata, which might be one of the hardest games to really pin down heading in its early 2026, and that's because mystery is a real big part of the appeal here. Visually, it gives me a kind of sort of strange mix of Dead Space, Mega Man, and even a hint of Devil May Cry, but it really never commits to one full identity. Capcom has been unusually quiet about what this game actually is, yet they've really stayed committed to finishing it properly, which says a lot. From what I've actually seen so far, combat looks really stylish and weighty, with hacking mechanics layered into the action. You will play as a heavily armoured character who needs oxygen to survive, contrasted by a mysterious young girl who seemingly doesn't. There's a playable demo that shows off the combat, but it still keeps that bigger picture deliberately vague, and honestly, that makes me even more curious about it. If you are interested in this one though, Pragmata will launch on both the Xbox Series consoles and PC on the 24th of April. The wait is finally going to be over for all of us Xbox players, and it's a pretty massive moment. After being revealed earlier in 2025, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is officially heading to Xbox consoles with a confirmed launch date of the 22nd of January. This now marks the first time the full remake experience will be playable on an Xbox console, bringing one of the most celebrated modern RPGs to a whole new audience. Of course, Intergrade will not only include the rebuilt Midgar storyline, but also the Yuffie-led intermission DLC, which sets the stage perfectly for Rebirth, which should also come in 2026. The demo from what I've played now is absolutely fantastic, and the performance is pretty rock solid across the board, and the Series S really has surprised me, to be honest. Whether you're revisiting Midgar or just stepping in for the first time, this is an easy must play when it lands in early January. Bungie finally broke their silence a little bit earlier in December though, with a major update on Marathon, and things are starting to click finally into place. The survival extraction FPS is now targeting a March 2026 release, and importantly, it's been fully confirmed for both the Xbox Series consoles. Alongside the announcement, Bungie dropped a surprising in-depth 22-minute documentary that gave us a much clearer sense of the game's direction, and honestly is looking far more confident than before, and even looks bloody incredible across the board. Pricing has also now been clarified as well, with a target of about $40, plus full crossplay and cross-save across every single platform, which is just so great to see. I do fully expect we'll also have Xbox Play Anywhere support, but obviously that remains to be seen. Bungie is also committing to no pay-to-win systems, non-expiring reward passes, and free gameplay updates, which is a real change of course for the studio. On paper is a really strong pitch, now it's all about seeing how they deliver it when March rolls around very soon. It is also worth noting that we should have an Xbox Developer Direct this January, alongside a ton of more information on some upcoming Game Pass titles as soon as next week, so do make sure to subscribe down below, as I will be uploading Xbox content every single day into 2026. Whilst down there, do hit that like button if you did enjoy this video, and make sure to check out the video on screen now if you do want to check out some insane FPS games coming our way very soon.